What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you are well. My name is Mark, and today we're checking out some more AmITheButtHole. Welcome to Spooky Month, which I absolutely love. And with this month, we're running a little art-based competition, a drawing-based competition, where there is prizes involved for the first 5 places, and you can get involved by joining up on our Discord, reading the rules, and submitting your entries there. It's a Halloween-theme-based art. You just got to include a little waffle in there somewhere. Cheeky little waffle. All skill levels are more than welcome to be involved. It's more just about that Halloween feeling that we love, much like the Christmas competition we ran. Thank you so much, and let's crack on with today's stories. Much love, guys. Now, our first story comes from HomeGuest3597, titled, "Am I the Arsehole for getting my brother-in-law a book about narcissism for his birthday? Hear me out, please. I, male 36, don't get along with my brother-in-law, M 30, sister's husband, for several reasons. He's a brutally honest guy who says what's on his mind without any hesitation. My sister and I grew up very close, and we still are, but husband clearly doesn't like it. Hell, he even accused me of being in love with her, and his logic is that I help take care of my nephews. So in his rational mind, the fact that I enjoy helping take care of my nephews means I'm in love with their mother. Go figure. He used to joke about mine and my wife's infertility with comments like, 'Are you guys pregnant yet? You guys are pushing 40, you gotta hurry up and make some grandchildren.' Or my favourite, 'Maybe you guys can't have kids because you're both men.' It's insulting, but the family says he's like this with everyone, so it's not personal. Whenever my wife and I had a celebration, say a birthday or an anniversary, my brother-in-law would use it as a chance to talk about his kids getting A+, or winning a game, or even talk about an ultrasound appointment and turn it into his celebration. You could say how frustrating that is. I've kept my distance, but I see my sister and nephews regularly. Days ago was my brother-in-law's 30th birthday. He called me saying he wanted me there to share his joy with family. I apologized and said no, but he kept pressuring me, saying he had a surprise for me and my wife. I knew he was up to no good, probably some brutal honesty. He said, "Don't forget my gift." I was lost thinking what I should give him based on his behavior for the past year. The family was there, and my brother-in-law was already started asking my wife, and I had something to announce. My wife froze, then he said, "Haha, that's what I thought." My wife got upset and left early. When it was time for gift opening, I gave him the gift I bought, and once he opened it, he was shocked. The gift was a book about narcissism called "Why Is It Always About You?" He looked at me shocked, and I said, "It's a good read, trust me." Everyone kept staring, and he got so upset and stormed off to the bathroom. My sister followed, and I heard him yell in the bathroom. I said, "Well, I better go." My parents went off on me, calling me disrespectful, mean, and rude for this tasteless, insulting gift. I tried to point out that this was the outcome of how he's been treating me and my wife, who left earlier, and they didn't even notice her. They kept arguing, saying he was just teasing us and that I was out of line, to say he was a narcissist. Then I left. Mum kept calling to say I messed up and ruined the man's birthday and should apologise to him profusely, or not be surprised if I can't see my sister and nephews again, which made me upset because I adore my nephews so much. It's been days and things have been tense between us. I miss my nephews and I'm thinking of apologising for what I did. No, this guy sounds like an absolute toxic individual, making comments about infertility, horrible behaviour, and that had me as a not the arsehole straight away from there. Not even to mention the fact that he summoned you to his party to try and humiliate you. He's an absolute arsehole and he deserves what he gets in this situation to me. It's funny how someone like that can dish it out, but then when it gets thrown back in his face, he runs off to the bathroom and starts shouting about it. Absolutely not the arsehole. Gemini says not the arsehole. He's allowed to make hurtful jokes, but you can't. Honestly, in my opinion, that gift is harmless. There are 2 ways a narcissist will react to being called a narcissist. They will agree or they will blow up. He did the latter. He upset your wife with yet another joke about infertility, but buying him a damn book is crossing the line. All your family sucks. I would maybe talk to your sister privately about his behaviour and why you bought that gift. Chitakin says not the arsehole. He's allowed to joke, but you are not. You are treating him exactly the way he's treating you, so why is it a problem now? Normally I would say everyone sucks here because you did sink to his level, but honestly, the way your family is only mad at you makes me think you did the right thing. No one is holding this man accountable for his actions, and that's absurd. And Tree City Kitty says, not the arsehole, you might want to reconsider your relationship with your parents and your sister if they continue to support someone who is so deliberately hurtful to you and your wife. Like all entitled arseholes, your brother-in-law can dish it out but not take it. Unfortunately, it seems no one is going to tell him he got what he deserved. He'll bounce back to his assholey self. Have a few pithy words with your parents. If they hold their swampy ground, then reduce or eliminate contact. Their support of brother-in-law's cruelty to your wife should not be tolerated, and you should have done this years ago. And Zoinkara says, not the arsehole, teasing in general is harmful as fuck. It requires a teaser, who usually gets the laugh, and the victim, who is the brunt of the laughs. He's making you guys the brunt of the laughs, enjoying the attention it gets him, and not worrying about all the impact on you and your wife. You did the same back to him, and now you're the bad guy. Frankly, all this does is show that the family doesn't have the same level of respect for you and your wife. This is on all of them. If they do decide to sacrifice their son's relationship with you due to his pride, zero surprise, then send cards for your nephew's birthdays, contribute to an education fund in their name every year, and then sign it over to them on their 18th birthday. And let's have one more from John B. Killer, who says, not the arsehole. He likes to make a joke at others' expense, so clearly he could take a joke too, right? He sounds like a complete narcissist, so the book, even if a joke, could actually be beneficial to him. I'd argue you're not even stooping to his level because you weren't malicious. His insults about fertility are downright abusive, and I think he deserves far worse than a gag gift. Now, what do you guys make of this story? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll move on to the next one. And our next story comes from Hardly Working 84739, titled, Am I the arsehole for telling my mum she can yell at me when I'm getting paid for it? I, 26 male, live with my mum, 55, and dad, 56, and pay rent. It's a convenient situation for all of us, as I can finish up college while having an affordable place to stay. And they have a live-in housekeeper / dog sitter. My mum also has medical issues that sometimes require someone to help her, and my dad works kind of late. For similar reasons, I also work for my mum and her business that she started with a friend. I get some money, the hours work for my classes, and I can keep an eye out if my mum is having a bad day. My mum is usually kind of chill, except when it comes to her business. Occasionally I will forget to do some small task and she will blow up at me as if it was a major crisis. This can be anything from forgetting to call back a client immediately to forgetting to empty the trash in the bathroom. The mistakes are few and far between, but she acts like I'm constantly screwing up at work when she's mad, then tells me how well I'm doing when she's not. It gets old. After a particularly rough and busy day, I decided to come home and straight to bed for a bit of a nap before homework. Right as I'm dozing off, Mum bursts into my room and starts ranting about a stack of papers I left on my desk and how I should have put them away. I wasn't sure where they went, as that is another employee's job. I cut her off and basically told her that if I was working any other job and my boss busted into the room and that I pay rent for and started yelling at me for something that happened at work, I'd quit immediately. Then I told her she's my boss at work and mum at home, and if she wants to lecture me about work stuff, she can wait until I'm on the clock and get them paid to be lectured. She fumed and slammed the door on me. Now she hasn't talked to me in a couple of days, unless she had to, and asked me about every single detail of my job to make sure I do everything I'm supposed to. My dad says I should apologise and make peace, but I feel like I was standing up for myself and that my argument wasn't unreasonable. Am I the arsehole? Edit, a lot of you are saying quit like it's easy or sane to leave a job with good pay and hours that work with my class schedule and find another that'll give me the same. And those aren't the only reasons I stay. I do it because should my mum have one of her bad health days and I'm working someone else, it would affect my job as I would have to leave to get her. I also care for her and don't want to leave her by herself on those days, as they can be scary and draining for her, hence why I said it was convenient. And from the edit there, I can kind of understand where OP is coming from. I think they just need to put boundaries in place, this is work, this is home, which it sounds like they're already doing. So it's an absolute not the arsehole from me. I'd be pretty peed off if I was in that situation as well and someone burst into my room complaining about work when I'm actually at home trying to sleep in my room that I'm paying for. Would it be enough to make me quit that position with the perks that it has? I doubt it very much. OP doesn't sound like they're in a particularly bad position. I mean, they can actually turn around to their mum and say, no, this is work, this is home, get over it. And mum needs to understand that, or she can fire him, or try to anyway. But Dodo273 says, not the arsehole. Quit working for her and get another job. Much better that way, and prepare to move out. Dangle the Worm says, before sacrificing something like this, weigh your options. It's cheaper to stay where you are, and you have job security. Best option here is to sit down and have an adult conversation and set some boundaries for a work-life balance. Also agree, mum is being passive-aggressive, not the arsehole. Mr. Aaron MN says, not the arsehole, your landlord sucks, and I don't think too highly of your boss either. And 9OKM says, not the arsehole, I totally agree with the boss at work, mum at home mindset. I work with my father, and though I don't live at my parents' place, we see each other regularly outside of work. Any issue regarding work is discussed during normal working hours. That's how it should be. To which Yavanna replies that saying, yes, I work with my son. I'm not his boss, but he is under me, so I tell him what to do at work. We also hang out after work, we do trivia nights and part of a book club. We may vent about work life in general, but we never discuss specifics or turn conversation all into a work fest. We keep that separate, and I frequently remind him to tell me if I ever slip up at work or home crossing those boundaries. And JW says, not the arsehole, those boundaries you set up are entirely healthy and functional. If your mother refuses to respect them, then she will be putting everything at risk. As the blurring of lines between work and private life, boss and mother would make things miserable and unworkable for everyone. Also, if she's not going to act professionally at work either, then really you'd be better off stopping working for her. If she needs you, then she has to do her part by making living and working with her a positive thing rather than a stressful minefield. You're an adult now, and her being your boss could very easily become the way she gets to act like you are the minor child under her control as boss/mother indefinitely. You would need to be interacting with her not as a dependent minor, but as an adult anyway. Regardless of your employment or residential status, living at home doesn't mean that you have to accept being treated as a child. Being her employee doesn't mean she gets to act as your boss 24/7. The whole relationship between the two of you needs healthy boundaries set up and maintained no matter how you slice it. Now, what do you guys make of this one? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll move on to the next story. And our next story comes from Busty Drawing Am I the Arsehole? Am I the arsehole for insisting an artist either draws something they're uncomfortable with or gives me my money back? So for context, I'm a small streamer, voice only, and recently got the money to get a VTuber model made so I have a face to put to my voice. I ordered a full body model. I based my model mostly off myself. I sent them a reference picture which was an anime style drawing of how I want it to look, and well, to be blunt, I'm rather curvy. I've always had a rather large bust and butt with a small waist. So my character also had that. She's fully covered, nothing vulgar, not even any cleavage showing. Things were going mostly good with the artist. The model looked mostly great, but despite me specifying the body type multiple times in each revision, they always had my model rather thin, with not much curves to her. Very small breasts and hardly no visible waist or hips. Well, I finally edited the actual picture they sent me of my model to show what I meant, enhancing the breasts and hips to be, well, on the larger side. When they saw that, they said they weren't comfortable drawing something that erotic, that they specified they didn't want to do NSFW stuff on their page. But it wasn't NSFW, it was fully clothed, no cleavage, not even the type of insane anime type breast you see sometimes, just an obviously curvy body. Now I know they're not from the US, so it might be a cultural thing, but I'm not sure. But we've been working on this for weeks, and from the start I specified very large breasts and hips and butt with a small waist, so it's not like it's a surprise. I finally told them if they didn't want to make it the way it was meant to be, then to give me my money back and I'd find someone who didn't have a problem with my body type. This started an argument because they said they've already put so much work into it and it wouldn't be fair for them not to get paid for it, and it wasn't fair for them to have to do something that makes them uncomfortable. I strongly disagreed and insisted they choose one or the other. Now they said they have to think about what to do, but are very upset. I talked to a friend and she said it might be something that's against their culture or religion and I should just drop it and would be an arsehole if I didn't. But I feel weird having this itty bitty tiny girl representing me when I'm nowhere near that. Am I the arsehole? For me on this one is that, you supplied a picture of yourself and you mentioned the way that you want it to be. They accepted that, they accepted the money, so you should get it the way that you want it to be. If you guys have been on any of my live streams in the past, you would have seen I have like a VTuber model myself. And before that particular one, there was two ones before it, like from two different people that I tried out, and I had the same issue. Obviously not having big breasts or anything like that, but getting it the way that I want it. It was in a very certain style that wasn't like my avatars are, so it was very, very frustrating. And I think if you came into this one and, you didn't give them much of a brief and you just said, here's the photo, there you go, and they came up with something, then that would be, we could be going down a different road here. But it sounds like you laid it all out exactly what you wanted, what you're going to be doing, and the certain way that you wanted this model, and you didn't get what you asked for. So you asked for changes and then they turned around and said, no, they're not going to do that. At which point I would be asking for my money back as well. Why would you pay for something that you've explicitly asked for and now you're not getting it, when it isn't rude or vulgar at all to begin with? So it's a not the arsehole from me. But Ledlin says, not the arsehole, to put it in a different context, you go to a restaurant and order a cheeseburger. Your waitress brings you a soy burger because she's vegan. Thus it's not what you ordered. She insists you pay her because she put her time into it. She knew it was not what you paid for. You'd be entitled to your money back. Limitless Megan says, I'm an artist and normally I'd be on the side of the artist, but this analogy is correct. You very clearly described what you wanted and provided photos of your actual body. They could have opted out at that point and said it made them uncomfortable. They did not. They took the commission to make it look like you and then invested the work in it without talking about these concerns. Now they're not following through. Personally, I'll send an email with screenshots of the original request for work with a description and another photo of your fully clothed body and say something like, I want this to look like me. This is my body. You saying that my body is nothing but a sexual object because of the shape it is. And if you are, don't think that is both objectifying of me as a person and you a problem. I hired you to draw it looking like me. It was clear what I looked like. It's not my fault if you agreed to a job you have now decided makes you uncomfortable because of how you objectify me. Not the arsehole. Nordis Lost says, not the arsehole. Regardless of their country, religion, personal preference, they owe you what you paid for. It was stated from the beginning, so that is that. If they didn't agree with the body shape to begin with, then they shouldn't have accepted the payment or accepted doing the work at all. You shouldn't even be arguing over this because it's your body. I think what's very annoying is the blatant disrespect for calling your body erotic or sexual to begin with. So they need to just give you your money back and also rethink doing custom art for people. Short Stack says, not the arsehole, you specified from the beginning, before work began, that she was to have large breasts and butt and hips. They should have bowed out right then and there if they had issues with it. They ignored the parameters that you set for the job and then proceeded to draw something different from what you asked. I am in a line of work where I have to bring clients' visions to life as well, and I can't imagine taking money from someone to create something they didn't ask for. And Joe's Wasted Time says, not the arsehole, it's their fault for starting work they weren't going to do to your requests. Give them a timeline to refund your money, 14 to 30 days ish, and if they don't, file small claims against them. Being curvy has nothing to do with NSW content, it's a body type. And one more from Telebob who says, not the arsehole, if they have an issue with the product you are requesting, they should never accepted the job. Now, do you have a different take on this story? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and we'll move on to the next one. And our next story comes from Spyro5433, titled, Am I the arsehole for trying to mediate between my parents and my wife? My wife wants my parents to stay in a hotel when they come into town to see us. This is because in the past they have stayed in our house and it has made us fight. My mum makes remarks that are just enough to piss off my wife, but not enough to get her in trouble. I am understanding of how manipulative my mother is more and more. It's hard to accept, but I do see it. But at the same time, my mother is my mother, and I love her, and I feel like she can work on these things. Because of these issues, my wife wants them to stay in a hotel when they come. It is a boundary she wants, and I respect that. When I brought that up to my parents, they were a little upset and offended at the same time, but tried to let it go. That has not happened. They have grown more upset by it. Now they are saying things like, you are always allowed to stay in our house when you come into town. They also paid for my education and much more, so I feel guilty for making them pay for a hotel. I brought up to my wife how I think it would appease them if we paid for the hotel, but she didn't like it at all. She said, well, they shouldn't come if they can't afford to pay for the hotel, but her family has stayed at our house when they couldn't afford a hotel. But that's different because she still thinks my parents can afford the hotel and thinks they are innately more well off than her family. The whole thing has made me very upset, as this isn't the first time I had to be in the middle of a battle between my parents and my wife. And while I want to respect my wife's boundaries, I also want my parents to not feel so offended and for them to get along. Now, breaking this one down, from the very first paragraph you said that your mum makes remarks enough to piss the wife off but not enough to get her in trouble, and then you understand how your mother is more and more manipulative, and from that then your wife has made boundaries that she doesn't want them staying at the house anymore. Which to me, while I understand you do love your mother, I think you need to respect your wife's boundaries. It sounds like she set these up for a very, very good reason. And the only solution in this story is the hotel. Whether your parents are offended or not, that's on them. For you to try and push your wife to let them stay would be, it would be arsehole territory to me. But Egg and Spoon 42 says you're the arsehole. This is a 2 yes or 1 no situation. The fact that your parents are putting pressure on you right now and making you feel guilty is proving your wife's point. Your parents are making you fight with your wife right now, and you're falling for it. A Canadian Snack says you're the arsehole. Your mum tries to piss off your wife. You admit this. Your wife is setting boundaries. End of story. Jammy says, if it's a decision between what your wife wants and what your parents want, I think you need to respect that your wife has tried welcoming them into your home and they have failed at being decent house guests. You married your wife and she has a right to have a safe space in her own home. You may want to tell your mum that her own past actions have led to this decision. Obviously, what your mum said was enough to get her in trouble if your wife no longer wants them to stay there. You downplaying your wife's feelings, thus basically invalidating them, is really not okay. You aren't thwarted from loving your mother just because she's staying at the hotel. This is a battle of wills between your wife and your parents, and you need to remember the vows you made to your wife. For being dismissive of your wife's point of view in favour of trying to appease your parents, I'm going with you're the arsehole. Snazzy Susie Q says, I'm heavily leaning towards you're the arsehole. You admit that your mother intentionally says things to piss your wife off. You admit you see your mother's manipulative ways. Does her parents say things to potentially piss you off when they visit? You didn't say they did, so I'm going to assume they don't. If your parents accept your hospitality and intentionally upset your wife, then they should stay in a hotel and pay for it. I am always offered to stay with relatives when I visit, pre-pandemic, but I usually decline because it puts less pressure on them and less pressure on me to be on all the time. I wouldn't want your mother to stay with me if she intentionally said things to piss me off every time. If I was your wife, I wouldn't stay in their home if I went to visit them. I'd get a hotel. And one more from Croc of Pot, who says you're the arsehole. By paying for your parents' hotel, you're basically rewarding them for bad behaviour. And then quotes, my mum makes remarks that are just enough to piss off my wife but not enough to get her in trouble. I am understanding of how manipulative my mother is more and more. It's hard to accept, but I do see it. But at the same time, my mother is my mother and I love her and I feel like she can work on these things. Then says, she can work on these things, but is she? Are you basically saying with this comment that your mum knows better but chooses to be sneaky arsehole to your wife anyway? I know they're your parents, but you need to be careful that you aren't teaching them if you throw a big enough tantrum or guilt trip you will get your way. But if they learn that they can do that, they will never stop. Now, what are your thoughts on this story? What are your thoughts on today's collection of stories? As always, I would love to hear them if you have a moment of your time to share them. A huge thank you for spending 20 to 30 minutes with me today and getting involved with the channel. It means the absolute world. Don't forget the Halloween competition, which you can get involved in Discord. Link is down in the description below. Come get involved, submit, read the rules, all that good stuff. Would love to see it. And a huge thank you for your love, support and time. It means the absolute world, and I will see you in the next one. Take care guys, much love.